Hey guys, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Andrew. If you've been watching the channel, you know that over the last couple of months we have been playing with the DNT Zulus at extreme long range. We've shot this at a mile. We have shot this at a mile in the dark. We've taken it out and connected on target at over 3,000 yards. And I thought it only fair to show you guys the setup and exactly what we're doing in order to make those shots possible, because I know that right now there's probably a lot of people scratching their heads asking A, how we did that with the Zulus, B, how we did it with a gas gun, and C, how we did that with a 6 arc. So today is going to be more of an educational video, and I will go over all of the components that we're using in conjunction with the heart of the system, which is the DNT Zulus, how we made those shots possible. So if that sounds good to you, stick around. We'll go over the many benefits that I'm finding in using a digital optic for extreme long range. Now, our initial testing with this thing was in those closer ranges from 350 yards out to about 1,000 both day and night. I'm going to play a couple of those clips real quick. Just playing with the Zulus, trying to get a feel for it. Impact, 350 yards. Impact. Alright, so I'm out day 2 with the Zulus. We're at 820 yards. And I should be about 7.2 mils elevation. I'm going to give it about 3/4 mil left for wind. Impact. 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 1,000 yards, night vision. 820 and 1,000 were ridiculously easy with zero modifications to the setup. So we decided to push it out to a mile, which was also ridiculously easy. And the only change that I made on that was a simple adjustment in the zero, which I do have a video out on that if you guys want to check it out. But here's a couple of those clips. Alright, there's the target, 1,776 yards. We're going to go 26 elevation with a 2 mil wind hold. Impact, 1,776 yards, arc and Zulus. Impact, 1,605 yards, arc and Zulus, 6 arc.
There you go.
Got her.
Fucking crazy.
1,776 yards, arc and Zulus, night vision, no IR. Impact, 1,776 yards.
Yep, you got it.
Impact. So this is the point where we had to modify if we wanted to get farther. If you look at that last shot, we were at about 26 mils if I remember correctly. So To get out farther, I needed extra elevation, and that's the point where we added this cold shot M.R.A.B. Now what the cold shot M.R.A.B does is it's an adjustable inclination scope base, and it will give me up to 144 mils in elevation, which is roughly 495 minutes for you MOA shooters. So what that allowed me to do is take this as far as the rifle system was capable of. So we use this in the next shot to be able to get out past 3,000 yards. And I'll play that clip in just a second.
All right, 5-shot string, 3,143 yards. Just off right edge. Impact.
One experiment that I've wanted to play with for a while has been to try and put 3 bullets in the air before the first one hits the target. So I did try that. We failed.
6 arc, 3,143 yards. DNT Zulus. Let's see if we get 3 in the air at the same time. Right edge, right edge. Right edge. Impact.
So what are the benefits to using the DNT Zulus for extreme long range versus a traditional optic? The first one that I'm going to point out is parallax. If you look at this Arkin EP5 on the side, we have an adjustable parallax. And I do apologize for the finger. It's not a booger. I cut it at work and I have a couple of stitches in there. But we have to have that parallax exactly perfect. Otherwise, any shift in our cheek weld at all can throw off our point of impact. So parallax is the first huge benefit that I'm finding to using the Zulus for extreme long range shooting. The second one, and I will play a clip of both the inclination and the cant, which is your side to side rifle cant. I'll show a look through of the optic, because there are a couple of things that I see as the shooter that you don't see on the recording. But it gives you the inclination, which is extremely important for calculating a precise firing solution. And then the third thing is your cant. Now, typically, if you take a look at this, typically what I use when I'm shooting extreme long range is this MDT send it level. And if you look at the lights here, basically when I get that green light, which is right there, that is my level. I see both the inclination and the cant inside the optic. So I will play a look through the optic so you guys can see that. I'm just going to use my phone to record that. But those are two huge pieces when you're shooting extreme long range. You have to be perfectly level. Otherwise, when you're dialing a traditional optic, if you're off even slightly, you're adding elevation and horizontal at the same time when you're dialing, so that it isn't as precise. So those three things I am finding to be a huge benefit with this DNT Zulus. I'm in my basement right now and I've got the Zulus just pointed at the wall, and I'm showing you guys just a look through the glass on what you actually see when you're looking at the screen as you would see it from the shooter position, because you don't see this part on the recording. The first, if you look on the right hand side, that is your inclination. And if you look on the left hand side, we have the cant, or whether or not the rifle is level. So these are two pieces that are critical when we are shooting extreme long range. In order to accurately calculate a firing solution, we need to know what that inclination degree is at. So if you look at the right hand side, it's showing the inclination degree, and then if you look at the left hand side, we need to be perfectly level when we're taking that shot. And the Zulus, the DNT Zulus, accomplishes that very well. I can get on target. I'll know exactly what my inclination is before I make elevation adjustments. And when I'm shooting, rather than looking up from the glass like I would do on a traditional scope at either a bubble level or, say, my electronic send-it level, I know exactly what my inclination is without ever moving. So those are two features when shooting extreme long range are really, really nice to have. Here is another thing that I want to point out with the Zulus, and I'll show a little clip of the inclination angle, because when you're shooting extreme long range, it's a very important piece of figuring out an accurate firing solution. So if we look at the shooting angle, which is up in the top left hand corner there, I'm at a -8 degrees shooting angle, but I'm going to change this and watch what happens to our elevation difference. I'm just going to change it to 0 and watch what happens to our elevation difference. So we just went up almost 7 mils in that adjustment by itself. So one of the cool things with the Zulus is you have that inclination on the the right hand side of your screen, so you can easily figure out what that inclination is going to do for your firing solution. So I know a lot of you right now are probably going, yeah, but you had to use an adjustable base to get out that far. But guys, here's the truth. Once you get past that 2,000 yard mark, it's always a combination of bases and mounts or the use of a prism to get out that far. So the only caveat that I am currently aware of to that, the only optic that I know that has that kind of elevation on the face of the planet right now is the March Genesis, and that's around currently $6,000. So anyway, other than that, it's always a combination of either, like I said, a prism or bases and mounts to get any optic out that far. Just taking a look at the setup here real quick, guys. This is the 6-arc gas gun. We've got the Zulus here, the cold shot M.R.A.B obviously mounted here. That's what's giving me the elevation that I need to get out to those really long shots. And then the other piece that I'm running with this is an MDT Oryx bipod. And one of the benefits to the Oryx bipod is once I get my cant correct, I can use this guy right here and lock it down so I stay level when I'm shooting out to those long ranges. So guys, that's the package. There are a couple of things that I want to talk about real quick as we kind of wrap things up here. The first one is, I'm sure that you guys have heard me reference both DNT Zulus and Zulus
one thing that I want to say is Arkin originally was the company that had the Zulus, and DNT took that over in their night vision and thermal division. So it is the same optic, and I just wanted to clarify that so that there is no confusion. But the Zulus, the Arkin Zulus and the DNT Zulus, it's the same optic. I know that a lot of you are probably looking at this thinking, well, that is a very unconventional platform for shooting in extreme long ways, and it is. And I want to talk a little bit about the benefits to using a gas gun versus a bolt gun, and B, also an intermediate cartridge versus some of those more expensive cartridges that are designed for extreme long range. And the bottom line, we'll start with cartridges, but the bottom line is this: a properly calculated firing solution is a properly calculated firing solution. And so, do some of those more expensive cartridges do a better job at this? Absolutely they do, but the cost is tremendously more expensive than, you know, I'm using a round that probably I'm paying just a little bit more than $1 per round to go and accomplish this, versus 7 to 10 and even sometimes higher per round to go and do the same thing. And what that gives me is a lot of trigger time and a lot of training. So I have in 6-arc, which is one that I use a lot, I can run a very high BC bullet at a reasonable velocity and get some very, very good results with that. And so that's kind of more what I am leaning towards, is an intermediate cartridge. My goal is just to impact a target, so I'm not looking for tremendous energy. I can still calculate a precise firing solution with that and accomplish what I want to accomplish with it. As far as a gas gun versus a bolt gun, you can make a very, very accurate gas gun now. It's not 1990 anymore, and we can make some ridiculously accurate gas guns, which I've done to be able to do this. And there are actually some benefits when it comes to shooting extreme long range to a gas gun versus a bolt gun. And one of those benefits is that when we're shooting out to those distances, minor changes in our environment make a huge big difference. Whereas, you know, when we're shooting within 1,000 yards, they're very negligible, but a minor shift in wind or temperature can make a very, very big shift in point of impact at 3,000 yards. So one of the benefits with a gas gun versus a bolt gun is that I can make a correction shot very, very quickly, and oftentimes do that before the environment changes on me again. So that is one of the benefits to actually using a gas gun over a bolt gun. Again, I know that's very unconventional, and if you like stuff that's unconventional and outside of the norm, this is going to be a great channel for you. Anyway, guys, I hope that explains everything well and how we did it. If you guys have questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I will do my best to answer everybody's questions, and I hope you guys have a really good rest of your day. God bless, and thanks for watching.